This is Will Smiles from Black Women TV talking to Patrick R. Walker, who currently plays Frank Wells on Gaslit. Hi, Patrick. How's it going?
How you doing, man? It's good to see you again, Wilson.
Yeah, it's good. You know, it's your episodes coming up. Episode 6 on Gaslit, which is the story of, I let you tell it, and let you tell where does Frank Wells fit in the picture.
Yeah, so I believe that with Frank Wills' character being what we call the hero of the Watergate scenario, the Watergate break-in, I think I'm really excited that the audience gets a chance to see what happened to him after the fact. Like a lot of shows, it'll just show that moment in different movies. It'll be small moments of him doing different things. But I'm excited that on Gaslit we get a chance to see like post the Watergate scandal, and we see how his life drastically changed. And people will think that, oh, this person deserved to be a hero, and we get a chance to see what America did to him at the time. So I'm really, really excited about this episode.
You know, I've seen you've been doing work throughout, and you did The Last Days of Paula and Gray, and you got this role. How did this come about? Did you audition for it? Did it come out for you?
I auditioned. I saw this just like everybody else. My agent sent it to me. I saw it, and I said, oof, I need this. It was the work was so juicy when I read it, and I was like, I want to be a part of this. And then even going and doing more work and finding out who Frank Wills was, I was like, I prayed and I was like, God, I want to be the person that tells this man's story. So it worked out.
How much did you know about his background prior to doing the show?
I knew nothing at all. I didn't even know much about, and it speaks to some public schools, I didn't even know much about the Watergate scandal in general. Moreover, the fact that it was a Black man who was the one that discovered everything. I had no idea about any of it. So getting a chance to as I'm prepping for it, learning about it, reading different books, seeing articles, Jet magazines, all these different things, I'm getting a chance to experience it as it's happening and watching the characters in real life on set move around. I go, oh, I feel like I was actually in it and I'm learning about it at the same time.
You know, the funny thing is, I think for anybody, if you're young, you don't know the story. If you're old enough and you're into films and you saw All the President's Men, you know who the characters are. And I know when I went and I saw you prior to me seeing you, I remember being at the premiere and I said, well, there are no brothers in the show. If there is, it's probably the guard or whatever. And somebody goes, Wilson, there was a guard. There was a guard, Frank Wells. That's that guy playing him, you know? And it was what I thought was a joke was oh, really? Wow. You know, and it's amazing. I guess not a lot of people tell this story. You don't see it in the history books. You know, not unless you're going deep into politics, you want to figure out every little step about how this thing came about. How much research did you do outside of what the producers were giving you?
So I did as much as I could. There was a book that just came out right before we started filming. And I got that book, and everything that I read, I had to be cautious of because there's different people telling Frank's perspective. I got the most from when I read magazines and I could find little interview clippings of him saying things. And so all I had was interviews. I had that book and then watching a few different small clips on him, but there was not much at all. In the script, there were certain things and I love the people from Gaslit so much, Robbie, Amelia, the writers, because I was able to go, hey, this, there was a line that said a location. I was like, at this moment, he would have said this location, and they would go in and change different things. Oh, he was actually here, or oh, he was born here. So all different ideas I had, everything that I knew about him as I was learning rapidly, they would make changes to the script just to fit it. So I was just really happy that I felt like it was a collaborative environment because as they're learning about him, I'm learning about him, but I'm doing a little more work as far as the fine details, but it's a lot.
And even not just learning about him, but learning the whole story about the whole Watergate from this perspective that we're seeing.
Yeah.
You know, we've got, films, and I'm sure there's countless documentaries regarding this, but as time goes by, people forget certain things in history. We don't know, as we're older, we don't know how history books are being rewritten. So you have to look into all these things as far as how it plays out. How was it being on this set, working along with Sean Penn and Julia Roberts, even though you don't always have scenes with them?
That's a good question. It was, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was nervous. I was nervous because I knew the amount of responsibility I had, and more than, I mean, just to the story, but because I looked at it and I knew that this was the main like person of color in that story, and that he was real. I felt the responsibility. And my first few days working, I would ask the director, Matt Ross, I would say, like, what do you think? Like, what do you think about today? And he would go, Patrick, relax. Like, you are doing, he early on, he told me, he said, you're doing, like, you'll be just fine. Like, you will not, because my worry was that, like, oh, these other storylines, you got Shea Wiggum, Julia, Sean, like, Dan, Betty, like, all these different people doing these wonderful performances. And I go, in my brain, I was like, well, will I, is this storyline, like, will I be able to live with them in the show? Like, will I be forgotten? And he was like, Patrick, trust me, what you are doing is beyond. And I think, like, getting those notes early on, I was able to just go in and just go for it. And every day I really just dropped in, and I channeled Frank the best that I could. And man, I took every moment plus some, because I was like, I will not let, and not even to be too much, but I didn't want to let my people down with, like, them learning about this story. So I said, this is important, and I treated it as if it was life or death. I mean, so.
Now you're working opposite, in this particular episode, you're working opposite Lauren Banks, who plays the Jet reporter. Now, is she a real life person, or is this something, for the scene?
That was for the scene. That was for the story.
But it also gives a little bit more in depth to how his life was. And that although, the world has seen him as a hero, during those time periods, okay, he, as we see, he was constantly looking for work, hold jobs.
Yeah. And Lauren is amazing. And the unique thing too, even when going into it, was that even reading the book, I learned, like, what Frank's situation was before the Watergate. So I got a lot of information. But with Lauren, her perspective being really the audience's look in, because he thinks, can I talk about the episode?
Yes, because we're going to air this right afterwards.
Okay, cool. Like, he really thinks when he first gets introduced to her and he's kind of like flirting with her a bit after the Jet magazine interview, he thinks he has a chance. And then he realizes that Lauren's character, just like everyone else, wants, like, a piece of this story. They want a piece of him for that moment. But, like, in Frank's life, he eventually realizes that no one was really there for him. Like, it was very much like that fame, that spark he had for that moment was so short-lived. And even watching, like, reading different interviews and magazine interviews over time, like, watching where his interviews were going, watching how people saw him, he was trying his best to, like, stay in it, like, almost stay relevant, or, like, get everything he could out of the situation, because he knew once it was over, he had no chance. And like you just said, he was looking for jobs after that, like, to do another security job, then went back home, looked for another security job, and then, like, watching where his life went, like, he got nothing. So I could tell, like, in this moment, he is scratching at an opportunity to, like, try to make a better life out of all that he has. Because in his mind, he feels like the government is after him. Like, you brought down a president. Like, you did something that shook up the world. So it's crazy.
But for you as an actor, knowing that when you get the script, you lead off this particular episodes, and you're throughout the episodes. You've been on other shows, and you come in and do your thing. But here, the episodes mostly about you. You're the synopsis for the episode. What does that do to you as an actor, knowing you have to carry this episode, because this is where people are going to see you and your skill set portraying this man that we've heard about, but he hasn't been expanded in other places, as you mentioned earlier, till now.
Yeah, man, that's a great question. You are asking some, that question is amazing. And I feel like I'm getting emotional right now, but man, I've been acting for 10 years. 10 years I've been doing this, like, to an extreme level. And knowing that those episodes were on my back was nothing, to be honest. It was nothing to me. And I think that, like, the beautiful thing about Frank's story is that, like, it is a character who is, like, I feel like he's in this, like, he's in a unique place where he doesn't know if he's going to blow or if he's going to, like, like he doesn't know where his life is gonna go beyond that moment. So like me and Frank had a lot of similarities in that, especially coming from where we came from. Like, and I'm from the South, he's from the South. Like a life where you had to struggle and you get to this moment of like you doing something special and you just want to be enough. You want to be good enough. You want to do your job. So as an actor, I was fully prepared because of the 10 years of work that I put in. And like you said, I have done like a lot of other shows where I come in and, you know, definitely serve my part and do well. But like this was a moment where I said like, this is a chance for people to see me do my absolute best. And this is where like, this is where the next job's gonna come from. Like this is gonna be it. So man, I was so happy and so blessed to be able to do it on this show with these people. And like, did you see the episode?
Yes, I have. I did.
I haven't seen the episode. Let me ask
you, is he alive, Frank Wells?
No, he's not alive. No, he's not. Okay. He's not alive. But I haven't even seen the episode. So I don't know.
Okay. That's why I said, you know, like you lead off, and granted, I know that when you're shooting, whether it's a film or a TV show, you shoot out of sequence, so you don't know how it's put together, but you lead off the episode. Yeah. You know, and see that stuff, you know, and then I see the scene with you and Lauren. I won't say much because you shot it, you know it, you read the script.
Yeah.
You know, so you're gonna have to watch it with your peoples come Sunday night. Yeah. You know, or on the app if you want to cheat right away. You know. But it's good so that people can get an idea as to who this guy is, who you are, because I'm sure, you know, for people who are watching the show, you know, they're watching it because this is history. They're watching the performances by Julia and Sean. And as each episode goes by, you're watching Dan, you know, you're watching Betty. And now with this particular episode, people will watch you, and hopefully this will get you more work because they've seen you do a good job on this one, and hopefully we can do you more. At the end of the day, you know, for those who have not watched Gaslit, and we're gonna tell them to start watching it. What's another reason for them to start watching this series?
My main reason that I tell my real reason, I say, first of all, it's funny. The show is funny, and I'm like, it's one of those shows where I watch it and I genuinely am interested in like the historical stuff, and that's all great. But like the fact that they keep me engaged with humor and this drama at the same time, I think that's like, it is such a well done show in that way. But I think it's a different perspective. I think like the world, like stories like me, I'm tired of seeing the same thing over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm tired of seeing it from the same perspective. So even getting a chance to watch Julia Roberts lead this and like watching a woman like do what she's doing, and I go, man, like I want to see more of that. Like I'm interested to see stories, even the stories I've seen, but from different perspectives. Like it's something as simple as if Superman was a black man, like we wouldn't know what Superman would be because we've never seen that. So I think like a show like this where it's a topic that we've seen before, like just getting it from this different perspective, I think is what's going to really bring people in to watch it. And they get to see something that they haven't seen before. So that's like my main, I'm like, if you want to see something that's funny and like dramatic and funny at the same time, watch it. It's very intriguing. And like to watch Julia every week it's a treat. And to watch what a woman could do, like I like to see when women run the show, like watching what she does, I go, yeah, this is going to be great.
Well, Patrick, you know, once again, congratulations on the gig. Congratulations on the performance. Obviously, we're here to support. Whatever you do next, keep me posted. We're here to tell people where you're at. In the meantime, I'll let people know to catch you in Gaslit.
Man, thank you so much, Wilson. I appreciate it. Mm-hmm.